Fish blank.
We are live.
Summertime is where we're headed, y'all. I know if you live in the Northeast, many of y'all, your fish are still spawning, but trust me, in the next week or two, everything's gonna be switching to a summertime pattern. Everything you're gonna hear on YouTube, everything you're gonna watch on Facebook, everything you're gonna see in magazines or wherever you consume your fishing content is probably gonna start to tell you to ease off deeper, fish the ledges, fish the humps, go deeper, deeper, deeper because the water's getting warmer. And that's where the fish are trying to go to get to cooler water, is what everybody says. One of the biggest misconceptions in fishing is that everything goes deep when it's hot. Ironically, guess what everybody says when it gets cold? All the fish go deep when it gets cold. I don't know why we have these misconceptions that bass respond to weather the same way that we do as humans. We think about how we would feel if it's 95 degrees outside when we live outside, what we would do. And in all actuality, bass do not react to that in that way at all. Bass are really only after two things. They're after survival and they're after food. They want to be comfortable, they want to be around food. Whatever environment provides that is where they're going to live. You know, every body of water, I don't care where you go, from as far north as Canada, far south as Texas, there's a group of bass that is born shallow, lives shallow. And there's a group of bass that live deep or live on the main lake and transition back and forth. And then there's also a group of bass that are born deeper and stay deep all year long. A lot of that has to do with the type of fishery. It has a lot to do with the species in the body of water. It has a lot to do with the water clarity. There's a lot of environmental factors that decide where fish go during the summer. But listen, today we're going to talk about fishing bank grass. Bank grass is a good way for you to catch bass going into the summer periods of the year, especially if you don't have electronics to fish deep, or maybe your lake is just more suitable for fishing shallow. There's still going to be a lot of fish shallow. Bank grass is going to be one of those surefire ways that you can catch bass shallow. Now, I got the idea to talk about this today from one of the members in the Straight Up Fishing app. I know we go live on Facebook and we go live on YouTube and maybe TikTok, just depending on what the government's saying. Probably not right now. But nonetheless, it was inspired by TC Lay in the Straight Up Fishing app. He sent us a picture of some bank grass that he had on his home body of water. He was like, "How do I fish this? What do we do? What do you call it?" Whatever the grass was that he showed me, I don't know what the name of it was. Here's a cool thing about fishing grass: you don't need to be a grassologist to know how to fish the grass. You just need to notice the differentiations in the grass. You just need to know how it lays. Maybe when it flowers, what does bait fish use it? Does brim use it? That's really all you need to know about the grass. Knowing the names is just an ego stroke. You don't need to know the names of it, but it sure helps to pay attention to how it grows, when it gets its thickest. Maybe the shad spawn in it, maybe the brim spawn in it, maybe bass like to spawn in it. But just paying attention to the stuff that matters within the grass is what actually is going to get you more bites and ultimately is going to catch you fish more fish, because that's what everybody's after is what how am I going to catch the more gosh doggone fish? That's all we want to know, right? Marco, is my picture getting flurry buzzy?
Yeah, it's
I know what it is. I know what it is. I'm about to swap it in. I just came from outside the house. I hate when it does that. I'm gonna swap something right quick and I'm gonna come right back to y'all. Y'all just hang out right there. I know what it is. No, I'm only extended. We've been having some really bad storms though. That might be what it is. Good grief, it's really, really blurry. Well, it is what it is tonight. Um, I'm on the right internet. Sometimes it doesn't switch over to the shop router, the shop internet, and it makes it real blurry. Um, so where are we talking about? We're talking about the bank grass, and we're going to talk about a couple things in here. And I wrote it down just to kind of keep me on pace today. Number one, we're going to talk about why you're going to fish bank grass to begin with. We want to know why we're going to fish it. Secondly, we're going to talk about what the different types of bank grass are, where you may find them. And then thirdly, I'm just going to show you some areas. I'm going to break down the Mississippi River, which is like the the bank fishing grass capital of the world is the Mississippi River. It's one of the places that I probably got the most experience fishing bank grasses on the Mississippi River. So I'm going to show you some screenshots, some aerials from the Mississippi River, and show you why I fished the areas that I fished. Not only are we going to show you the grass, what it looks like, what cast I'm going to make, but some aerials so you can get a bigger scope of what we're going to be, why I would fish that area. Then lastly, the easy part is the baits. This is the part where I kind of make y'all a little upset because the baits are never really that important. I mean, they're important because you got to catch fish and you're gonna catch them on the hooks. But the easy part is like it makes sense. Oh, I'm not gonna throw a crankbait at that because it's gonna stay stacked up all the time. Or I'm not gonna throw a rattle trap at that because that ain't going. It just sinks too fast. Really, once you find the areas, common sense will kind of bring the baits to your you know to your awareness. Okay. We do have a couple of housekeeping things we need to take care of in front of the app. So first thing, I want to talk about two things. I want to talk about our tournament that's coming up. If you listening on Facebook, I know you heard about it if you're in the Straight Up Fishing app and you're listening tonight. But if you're listening on Facebook, we host a free tournament. I want to talk about that. You're invited to come fish within that tournament. Secondly, you guys know we sponsor people here in the app, and Brian Barty, Kim Pfeiffer are tier one guys that we're sponsoring this year. They're fishing the BFLs in the Northeast Division, and then I also do a second tier sponsorship as well. And for March, April, May, we had Ricky Taylor and Nathan Sipes. I want to grab three more guys to sponsor for the next coming months, and we need to announce somebody for that. So just wanted to make y'all aware. We'll probably do that. Let's do it. Let's do it Friday. It's Friday announcement. Sound good for y'all? Let's do a Friday announcement. We're gonna like sound like in church. We're gonna honor three more people, but no, we're gonna bring three more people into the fold for our Straight Up Fishing sponsorship to represent the app. Here's the thing about the sponsorship within the app. It's got nothing to do with fishing tournaments. You can fish tournaments. I hope you do. It ain't got nothing to do with your fishing tournaments. It has to do with you just being on fire for fishing. You're posting in the app. You're helping people. You're high-fiving the other guys that are posting fish in the app. You're just being an overall just good steward of the community. That's all it is. You show up to the lives. You show up for the workshops. All the events that we have here in the Straight Up Fishing app, you're always there. That's all we're looking for to represent the app. What it's going to include, if you got any tournaments, we'll do tournament lake breakdowns on your specific tournaments, and then we'll give you a tackle allowance for those 3 months on shopblat.com, so you can get whatever tackle you need, to do whatever you want. So yeah, that's the requirements there. Let me talk about the tournament. If you listen on Facebook, we host a free tournament for anybody that shops at shopblat.com every year, or during the registration period, not every year, during the registration period, which ends, I want to say on the 16th, June 16th. You got like 7 more days to register. We're going to have a month-long tournament, CPR, catch, photo, release tournament. Everything you need to know is at shopblat.com. All the questions you need to know about fishing this tournament is at shopblat.com. All you got to do is buy any dollar amount on shopblat.com, or if you're a member of the Straight Up Fishing app. So if you're a paid member inside the Straight Up Fishing app, you're in the tournament. Okay? All the prizes are listed on shopblat.com, and then we added one more thing as of today. So as of today, we got a new category within the Straight Up Fishing tournament that we're going to have. This first one's called King of the Ring. Many of you have said, "Oh, well, I live in Timbuktu, and our fish are smaller than y'all down there where you eat the fried chicken in South Carolina and Texas." That's what y'all think. Where you were down there where y'all eat that good old fried chicken. My fish are smaller than that. All right, so this is what I decided to do to help somebody out. And then it just adds another layer to the tournament too, okay? We're gonna have 3 more categories. For the King of the Ring tournament, we're gonna have the largest largemouth bass. We're gonna give a reward for the largest largemouth bass. We're gonna give a reward for the largest smallmouth bass. Okay, northern guys, the big old smallmouth y'all got up there worrying about somebody in Texas. Y'all got 5, 6, 7 pounds. Sorry about that. Somebody's trying to call me. So we're gonna take care of that. Uh, biggest largemouth, biggest smallmouth, biggest spotted bass. Eric Zanke, this one is yours. Zanke, if you don't catch the biggest spotted bass, buddy, I'm coming to confiscate your kayak. I hope he's watching tonight. So we got 3 new categories that we're going to award prize packs to for the biggest largemouth, biggest smallmouth, biggest spotted bass. Okay. So jump in the tournament, everything you need to know to get in the event, how to fish it. Another thing, if you're in the Straight Up Fishing app, Mac Toon gave the best online fishing tournament tutorial ever on the roundtable that we had in the app last Thursday. Dude walked us through how you register. He gave you all kind of hacks, how to measure, how to use your code, how the tournaments. He knows more about my tournament than I do. I don't know as much as Mac Toon know about my own tournament. So watch that. If you got any questions about the tournament, he answered all the questions. As a matter of fact, I might hail him the tournament director actually, because he is really good. He knows a lot about fishing online tournaments, and that's not a space that I have a lot of any experience in. Let me just not say a lot, none, none. Why are you hosting one, Brian? Because I want to introduce people into tournament fishing. That's why. You don't have to know everything about it just to host one. I want to host it. I want to help y'all get started tournament fishing, and that's what this is designed to do. And if you want to fish tournament fishing bank grass, you're about to get the best one since sweet tea tonight. Okay, when we fish bank grass, transitioning just in case I move too fast on y'all. I'm gonna go as fast as you can because I'm not even gonna hold y'all like by 9 o'clock. We want to be done unless y'all open up a can of worms with questions. Um, bank grass. Why in the heck we fishing bank grass in the beginning? Why are y'all fishing bank grass? That's the number one question we want to ask. Why would you even look to that? What would be the reason that you would fish bank grass right now? Bank grass provides a couple of different things. Do you remember what I said about bass not responding to weather the same way we do? We walk outside and it's 90 degrees and we go, oh, where's my sunscreen, Martha? I need my big brim hat, my sun gloves, and my sun shirt with the hood. By the way, Straight Up Fishing sun hoodies are on sale in the Straight Up Fishing app. Use your code. So if you need, boy, y'all got to give it to me. That was a good sales pitch.
That was pretty slick.
That was slick as a mug right there. They don't need, listen, the bass don't need a sun hoodie. Smallmouth don't need a sun hoodie. They don't need SPF 500. They're not responding to that. You know why they go to the bank grass? Couple of reasons. They go to the bank grass because there's food there. They go to the bank grass because there's cover there. What I always say about largemouth bass like to hide in behind something and jump out and get food as it comes by. That provides them that cover. Their eyes are covered, they feel hidden. Anything that's big enough to cover a bass's eyes, enough to make him feel hid. He's that dumb. He's not intelligent at all. Not an intelligent species. So they get in that bank grass, number one, for cover. Number two, for food. That's really the only things you need to know. There might be some other ecological reasons. We don't care. I'm here to tell you we don't care. Like Stephen A. Smith said, we don't care. We don't care the other reasons. All we need to know is going to be food there, which could be brim. It could be shad during the shad spawn. Uh, whatever else. I don't know. A pork chop. I don't know what else would be in the grass. Bugs, mayflies, whatever, larvae, whatever the case may be. But mainly little ducks, snakes. Yes, they do eat that stuff because I've seen them spit that up in my lava, especially when we go up north. So that's why. Food, cover. Whatever capacity food is, figure it out. That varies depending on where you're in, whether you're in Wisconsin, New York, Virginia, South Carolina, Texas, or California. What kind of food is in the grass? We don't care. We just know that food likes to live in grass. Got it? And we know that it provides cover. That cover can be shade. That cover can be the fact that it covers a fish's eye, but it makes him feel comfort. And you remember, a bass is a predatory animal. They like to sit behind things, jump, especially a largemouth. Sit behind it, jump out, and get it as it swims by. And we're going to use that to our advantage to help catch fish. Now, When I say bank grass, what exactly are we talking about? What is that? What are you talking about, Brian? I'm going to show you some. The one that TC posted in the app. Michael, would you be able to possibly pull that up? There's two ways you can find it. It'll either be on one of my most recent posts, or you could just type in TC Lay.
Let me
Is
take a
that
look.
possible? Yeah, if you can find it, I'll keep talking while you're doing it. I'm not sure. Somebody in the community or somebody on Facebook is going to know what type of grass this is. If Michael finds it, he'll put it on the screen and show you what it is. Doesn't matter. All I want to know, you remember when we talked about fishing grass? Was it last week? I think I did a live class on Friday about fishing grass. Two things I worry about with grass. Two things. Where is it thickest? Where is it thinnest? Because those two things are going to tell me about the bottom. That's going to tell me if it's deep. That's going to tell me if it's shallow. It's tell me a lot of different things about where the grass, just by knowing where it's thickest and where it's thinnest. Guess what we're going to do when we start talking about bank grass? And I'm going to show you some slides. We're going to look at where it's thickest, where it's thinnest. Or we're going to look for an edge, which is essentially where it's thinnest. Because edge means there's no more grass. So that means it's what? Pretty much the thinnest. So that's all we're looking for. You can reduce this and make it super simple just by focusing on those two things. Some bank grass that I'm familiar with, y'all can go ahead in the comments talking about the grass that's in your body of water. Make a science project of it. Put it in the app for us. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I want y'all to share in the community. I don't know everything. I don't know everything. What I'm doing here in the app is sharing my experiences and what's worked for me and what's not. I actually have a degree in horticulture, and I still don't know all the names of all the grass. All the grass. I know some of them now. Now I know a lot of them, but I don't know all of them. So go in the community. You can even do it now while you're listening. Share the different types of bank grass that are in your body of water. Now, I keep saying bank grass. I don't want to insult your intelligence. When I say bank grass, what I'm talking about is really any kind of vegetation that just grows along the shoreline. Bank grass is any kind of vegetation that grows along the shoreline. Any vegetation, anything. That's it right there. That's what TC Lay posted in here, and that's what started this whole conversation about fishing bank grass. I've seen that in Florida. Don't know what it's called. Somebody put it in the comments. I know y'all know. I know y'all know what it is. Somebody can't wait. They're like, that's giant Sylvania, monoecious, genus name, Japonica, Hirastocaris. Somebody's in there ready to go. Let us know what it is. I want to know too. Um, okay, so where was I at? I was trying to be funny and I forgot where I was at. Where are we gonna fish it? So water willow, the different types of bank grass. Water willow. That doesn't look like water willow to me. It can be lily pads. It can be hydrilla. It can be reeds. Anything that's growing along the shoreline that is not weeds. We're gonna just call that bank grass. Just call it bank grass. Keep it simple. Because guess what? We're going to use that to put specific baits in to trigger that predatory instinct that I talked about that a bass has. That's what we're going to do. Okay. Um, Michael, we can get into those couple of slides real fast. Yeah, yellow flower. Who says that? Mark Jonas says he has to do better than yellow. Hey, so I don't even know if you were talking about that, Mark. But yes, so at Kentucky Lake, there's one called yellow flower. I can't believe I didn't pull that up into my slides. Kentucky Lake has a bank grass called a yellow flower. Did somebody let me go into the chat. Somebody I saw that. Where's it at? What is it, buddy? I don't know. I saw Mark Jonas, I think, was talking about it. Yellow flower is one of my favorites to fish in the spring. Now that's more of a springtime grass. It's not even aquatic vegetation. That's when the lake is low, and then and grass vegetation grows up, and then it's flooded, and this grass on the Tennessee River is in the water. You'll find it in Chickamauga, Kentucky Lake. I fished it even a little bit at Pickwick too, so I'm assuming it's in like Gunnersville and all the others too. We call it yellow flower. What I think it is just Coreopsis. Coreopsis is just a wildflower that grows in fields and everything. It has a yellow flower on it. I like to call it yellow flower, brother, because that's a whole lot cooler to say than Coreopsis. That's a bougie name to say. Imagine going across the stage. Yeah, man, I caught all my fish in that Coreop, he says. Half the fishermen can't even say that, including myself. And let me drop this on you one more time in case you didn't catch it the first time. I got a horticulture degree, and I still don't like to say it. I know the genus name of Coreopsis, and I still don't like to say it. Okay, so water willow, lily pads, hydrilla, yellow flower, any kind of reeds, any of that stuff. There's this stuff on the James River that I call hosta. It ain't hosta, but it looks like hosta to me. It grows on the bank. I'm calling it bank grass. Any of that grass that you don't see that just grows out in the middle, and it has to be on the bank. Sometimes because semi grass grows on the bank. Bank grass. That's all. That's all we're talking about. Okay, Mike, can we go to that first slide? I'm gonna break down what I'm about to show y'all. I'm gonna break down a place that I fished on the Mississippi River, and I'm gonna talk to you about why I fished, where I fished. I had some slides. You can find.
Is this the one you
Start
want?
on the. No, let's start on the very first one. That one you had, the aerial. Yeah, that one right there.
That
Let's
one?
start right there. Yeah,
All
let's
right.
just start right there. So this is the Mississippi River, and it's just a good place to talk about fishing grass because it's really dynamic. That area right there is not that big. I bet it's 2 or 3 thousand acres, maybe not even. Yeah, probably 2 or 3 thousand acres. But it's so complex. It's got a lot going on in this area. So I want you to study that. I'll label some things and threw some arrows on it and show you some very specific targets that make the bank grass in these areas a good target for summer fishing. Okay. And then I'm even going to show you some, there might be a second slide in there where I show you where I talk about even some springtime areas that would be good. If it's not, I mean, it's still on the same aerial that you're looking here, so I can show it to you. Okay, so this is a backwater slough on the Mississippi River. And we're gonna break this down. We're gonna talk a lot about why certain areas are good at certain times of the year and what's going on here, because when you look at it, it just looks like this giant glob, giant maze of yarn of creeks looking thing. But when you really get into it, even though that all looks the same, it's a lot of this is different. Okay, and if you can pay attention to these things, it's going to help you catch more fish, and it's going to help you break down water faster, way faster. And if you can break down water faster, you can outpace your competition, especially when you're talking about on the local level, because most guys are showing up on Saturday and going back to the same places they fished all of their life. Don't be that guy in this app. Don't be in the app and be that guy. I caught him here 78, buddy boy. I tell you what, I swam that doggone cream double hooker down the side of that grass. Don't do that. Don't do that. Get used to paying attention to the things that are happening on your body of water, and you can start to find new areas, and you just literally open the whole lake up versus just going back to the same thing because that's where you caught them before. Okay, so you see where I got the heart right there? You can see there's two places that I call the heart of this backwater. And why I call them the heart is because all of the creek stems, all of the little feeder creeks feed to those big open areas. So I call them the heart. Everything is pumping to them. The current is coming in from the top of your screen. It's coming from the top left-hand corner. You see where the main river is? That's the main river is the main river. And this is a backwater slough on the Mississippi River. You kind of got to work to get into this backwater slough unless you want to just go way down south and come back in it the easy way, but then you go out of your way like 10, 15 minutes. I found a little back slough cut to get in here, but you got to find these, what I'm going to refer to as creek stems, creek channels in this backwater bay. And all those creek stems feed those hearts, which are just little ponds. You see how they're little ponds? See those little open areas, the one on the bottom left, bottom right hand corner is big. You see, there's one I got on the left hand corner right there. It's not as big, but it's bigger than you think. This aerial image is in the middle of the summer when it's all grassed in, so it doesn't look as big as it really is. But all the water's pumping to that, to those two areas. All the little hearts are pumping to that. And so, why is that important? When you got an area like that where the feeder creeks and the creek stems, as I call them, you see all those little creek stems, I label them and put a red arrow by them. You should be able to blow them up. Let's see, can you? Yeah, you should be able to blow them up in the app. I don't know if you can. Let me see. Maybe, maybe not. So you can get a better image of them. That's very important because when you get in here, there's bank grass everywhere. A lot of y'all that have bank grass on your legs, there's bank grass for eons of miles. How you gonna know where to start? Well, one good place to start, especially in the summer, is starting on bank grass that is going to be in one of two places: on a steeper contour, or if your lake or body of water has current that's getting hit by the current. Why is that? Let's go back. You remember what I said about a bass being a predatory animal? Well, set behind, so think about it like an alligator. You don't see alligators running around chasing ducks and stuff. You don't see snakes running down a lion and catching them. I guess they don't eat a lion, but you don't see a snake running down a rat. You don't see that happening. That's what sharks do. Sharks run things down. That's what else? Just think about something you've seen on National Geographic. I don't know whatever chase a lion, a tiger. They chase their stuff down. That's what a spotted bass or smallmouth is gonna be like. A largemouth is more like a gator. Gators sit in the grass and they just sit there, still as can be, wait for something to come by, pounce, got it. Now, if I've got current hitting the area, they get to sit in that grass and just all that food is it's the most oxygenated water in that backwater bayou that you're looking there. If I've wherever the current's hitting the highest, hardest. So the grass is going to be the healthiest. The grass is going to have the most algae and all the phytoplankton, that stuff we talked about in the fall fishing uh, breakdown is going to have all that stuff in there. So we want to fish that. Bring that back up, Mike. If it did it go away or is it just on my end? Is it still on everybody else's end? Okay, bring it back. Okay, so we want to fish those areas, getting all that current. That's very important. So anywhere you see those big openings right there is gonna that's the indication you got a couple things going on. Number one is deeper water is being fed by those creek stems. Now in your body of water, it may not be creek stems. It may just be on the main river where it's just getting smashed with current. It's a good place for you to fish. You can just see because you can see the grass laying over a certain way. You can see it moving a certain way. You can look at your navionics and see that that's where the most current is at, or it's the steepest contour. It's going to have more current there if it's got a steep contour. So those are the areas that I like to focus on, and they're easily identifiable. That's why you see you can just follow these just like a maze. I'm pointing an arrow to those little creek stems, but you can just follow those creek stems all through that backwater right there. And in the summertime, that's where that's where I like to fish. Okay. That's where I like to fish. Two things, it positions the fish when you got a steeper contour on the actual creek stems, the fish position better because they don't have 80 yards to go back in the grass because it's so flat. Anytime you got a steeper contour, like a 45-degree angle, those banks, the grass can only grow so deep, so the fish can only set up in like that 5, 6, 7, 8 foot range off the bank. Where if it's an extremely flat bank, that grass may run back on the land several hundred yards, 50 yards. Even if it's 20 yards, that's all that means there's a lot more to fish. And I just don't have as good a chance at catching a bass there. Okay. Any questions about that slide? Right there, pointing out the creek stems and the hearts. The heart is just where all of this water is feeding to and through. Think about your body. The blood is flowing to and from that area. It's coming into your heart and it's flowing out of the heart. And I want you to think about where you live, where you fish, where's somewhere where you fish with water. Everybody water has, for the most part, well, all of them have some type of place where water goes in and out. Where does it neck down at? And there's a lot of current at. And then you have bank grass. Those are the areas you want to focus on. Hey, and by the way, this is the most important part. A lot of y'all are waiting for the juicy part for me to tell you. This is the most important. Don't wait. This is it. This is the juice. So don't wait for me to get the debate so you can go to shopblat.com and get some more stuff. No, 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 bro. No, put the credit card down. Learn this stuff. Learn this stuff first. Anywhere the current is the heaviest, anywhere you have a steeper contour. Right now, going into summer, that's going to be where you're going to fish. Now, Mike, is there another aerial slide? I made another aerial slide, but did I forget to put it in there? Because I feel like I did. Okay, perfect, 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 perfect. All right, this is the same thing you just looked at, zoomed in. This is the same thing you just looked at, zoomed in. Okay, now I pointed out a few things in here because this, again, I'm preaching. This is it. This is the juice. This is the most important part. Let's look at summer. Why does anybody have any idea why I circled that, what I circled for summer? Look at everything else around that and look why would I circle that for summer fishing? If you pay attention to that area, you notice how the pads, the bright green is like lily pads. The darker green is bank grass. And I'm gonna show you a picture what it looks like. It really is reeds. I called it corn when I was there. I don't know what it is. I call it corn because it looked like corn to me. Like fresh corn without this in the field, without the fruit, without the vegetable.
Quick
That's what it looks
quick
like to
question,
me.
Ryan.
Yes, sir.
Just popped up in the comments for
Yes,
everybody's.
yes, yes.
Um, is it flowing top to bottom or
Top,
bottom to top?
top,
Top to
top.
bottom.
Flowing from the top. You see,
Okay.
y'all remember when the main river was coming from the top. Even if the same principle applies regardless. You just want to know where that water's coming in and going out. Same principle applies. It doesn't, even if it was, no matter which way it was flowing. It is coming from that top left hand of your screen going down. But the same principle applies if it was going from the bottom right hand of your screen to the top left. It wouldn't matter. You just want to find where that current's heaviest. Now, looking at this aerial, that light green is lily pads, and you can see how it has that hard edge on there, hard cut. Tells me two things: water's deeper there, and probably the current is a little stronger there. Where the current's strong, the grass won't grow, it won't peter out into the middle. That's why I love grass fishing. Grass fishing tells you it gives you so much feedback. Grass fishing tells you how deep the water is, it tells you what the bottom is like. It makes everything easier. When I'm fishing bushes, I don't know what kind of bottom is down there. The bushes just grow in anything. But grass will only grow where it wants to grow. And it ain't grow nowhere else. Bushes will grow anything. You've seen bushes grow out in the middle of rocks. You've seen them grow in soft soil, hard soil, rocky soil. Grass only grows where it wants to. It only grows where it's happy. And so it tells me a lot more about what's going on under the water. Grass don't like too wet. It don't like it too dry. It don't like too much traffic. And in the context of bass fishing, you know how if you get a lot of foot traffic on grass, you know how it tramples down and you get it dies, right? For bass, for fishing, oh, here's my internet again. When you're talking about aquatic vegetation, the current is a resemblance of foot traffic. Anytime you get heavy current, the grass is gonna have a harder edge. It's not gonna grow as strong. Okay, it won't grow as strong. So the fact you can see that hard edge on those paths, there's current there. It's gonna be heavier current. I know that. And then in fact, it's just a main stem. It's just a creek stem, as I call it. You can call it whatever you want to call it. Some people call it creek stem, creek channel, whatever you want to call it. No, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. Um, let's look at that area that I circled that says falling water. That falling water area, I like that because that's another main or creek stem. And you see how defined those edges are on the bank there. If you can zoom in on that, well, I don't know if you can zoom. You can't really zoom in on the app. I got the app up on my iPad, but you see how defined and how. I mean, this crease like some gosh doggone blue jeans your granddaddy used to wear. You know, your granddaddy used to starch them blue jeans and then have that crease down the front. I'm gonna start back doing that. Hey, the next time I walk across stage, I'm gonna wear some blue jeans with creases in them. See how y'all like that? With a belt and my jersey tucked in, and a key on the side that's gonna be jingling. You know what I'm saying? All that to say that you see how defined that creek edge is on there. That tells me the water's deeper there, and that's gonna be anytime you fish in bank grass, your number one enemy is water level. Anytime you fish in bank grass, your number one enemy is going to be water level. The water rises or the water falls. And when the water falls, you got to go to the deepest part in that nearest by area. And that's going to be where I would fish if it was going to be falling water. I would fish right in there where I have it labeled falling water. Okay. Because it's deeper water, it's a main stem. They have quick access to those hearts if they want to use that, but it's the deepest water in that area. That's what it would look like. And I can tell it's deeper water without even going there. I know it's deeper water as I've been there. Without even going there, I can tell it is, but you can see. You can see the water, you can see how hard and crispy, like starched blue jeans, that edge is. Okay? Now, let's look over there to the bottom left-hand corner of that. Now, the bottom left-hand corner, reason I like that, that would be an early spring area. Can anybody tell me in the chat why that would be a good early spring area? Bottom left hand corner is labeled early spring. We talked about that all spring. If somebody don't put that in the chat, I'm cussing. I'm cutting this live short tonight. I'm going to eat me some doggone chicken and some Kool-Aid and gosh doggone mashed potatoes. Y'all done piss me off, but y'all don't know why that ain't. Yeah, hey, I see Ricky Taylor said the Bugle Boys. Hey, we all fam. He said Ricky Taylor said get those Bugle Boys because I sure had some Bugle Boy jeans back in the day. Okay, the reason that I picked that area for early spring is because it's flat. How can I tell that that area, that backwater, that little pond, that little mini heart is flat? Look how the lily pads extend out into the middle. Flat ground. It never gets deeper. Lily pads got to grow in a certain depth. I've never seen lily pads in much over 5 or 6 foot deep. So when that lily pads die out, now I know that's lily pads, number one, because it's really shiny, and number two, because I've been over here in this area, so I can tell those are lily pads. The lily pads are going to stop where it gets below a certain depth. And you see how they go all the way out into the middle into that open area? That means it's shallow and flat in there. But remember what we said about springtime fishing all spring long. I'm going to concentrate in the spring on the flatter areas. Springtime flat. Summer, fall, usually is going to be a steeper contour. Usually, generally speaking, remember that there's no absolutes in bass fishing, but that's a good thing to point you in the right direction to catching more fish. Those two simple things. Springtime, think flat. Fish spawn on flats. Summertime, going into fall even in the winter, I like steeper contours. And that goes from fishing from 1 foot, 2 foot, all the way down to 40 foot. Steeper contours in the fall and summer, because that's the context of this conversation. Summer. So that wouldn't be my favorite area where I have early spring in there, but it don't mean I ain't going over there and trying that with a frog with it being flatter like that. All right, I got to move because I told I was going to get y'all out here at 9 o'clock. Right in the center of that, you see where I have it marked in purple, heavy current. Why did I call that heavy current? Why do I have it marked, that heavy current area? Very simple. The reason I got that area marked is because you see how that is one of the main stems coming into that bay, into that. I had that label heart earlier. You can see how it kind of snakes in between there. And anytime you have a main stem or creek stem that has any kind of curve in it, there's going to be a bank where that curve hits into harder than anything else. Water is not directional. Water goes the way the bank tells it to go. Otherwise, you just have water just running out of the river up on the bank. But because the river turns and snakes, the water hits that bank and then turns dead on. The current's going to be heavier right there. It's going to be a good place to fish in the summertime. You remember everything I talked about? All the food's getting washed by there. All that current's more oxygenated water. The grass is going to be heavier or going to be more healthy right there. It's just a good place for all the bait, all the best grass in that area. It's probably going to be somewhere right in that area where I just marked heavy current. You can bet on it. It's going to be a good place to fish. Okay. Oh, thank you, Mark. Michael says you can download these slides on this video right now. Thank you. That's clutch, bro. Thanks, Mike. That's some freaking. That's why you hire military people. That's why you get military people to help you. He said you can download. I didn't even think about that. Okay. Um,
You ready for
let's
the next
jump to the
slide?
next slide, Mike. What's that, Mike?
You, you answered the question. Let me
Okay.
let me move you so you're not blocking everything.
Okay. Yeah. What's that, top left hand corner? Maybe. Yeah. Okay. So this is that area. This is what it looks like in there. The dull looking grass on that slides is that stuff you see in the background. I call that corn. You can call it millet. You can call it sorghum. I don't know. Whatever that you see in the background. Soybeans. That looking stuff. That's in the background. You can actually catch fish in that in the early spring there when that's just sprouting out from the winter. But I was here in August, summertime, and the fish were more on the edges, the bank grass, like what we're talking about in this video. So I got everything you need to know about fishing bank grass is in this picture. Regardless if it's the kind of bank grass you got in your lake, regardless of where if you live in the north, south, west, east, or Australia. Everything you need to know about fishing bank grass is in that picture right there that you're looking at. Everything. There's only four things. There's really only three. There's really only three things. Okay. But this is one of the areas that I fished in this because of all the things that are going on right here. I actually caught one. This is a screenshot from me fishing the Mississippi River Invitational 2 years ago. Okay, so I got, man, I don't know now. That's some very, I should have thought of different words to put on these circles. I got thick holes, points, and pads. That's thick holes, points, and pads. I'll do a better job next time. Anyway, holes where the grass is thinnest, thick where the grass is thickest, points where the grass is thickest and it makes a point. And then I got lily pads in this grass, which makes what? Grass thin because it casts shade. That's all you need to know. That's everything. I don't care if it's water willow. I don't care if it's giant Sylvania. I don't care if it's American pondweed. I don't care if it's yellow flower. I don't care if it's hydrilla. I don't care if it's eelgrass. It doesn't matter. You look for the holes. You look for where it's thick. You look for the points in the grass. And if you got something that's laying on top of the grass, that makes holes. Fish that too. You take them four principles right there, and this 45 minutes that I've been talking, that right there will serve you. Holes, we need to come up with like what's the stuff we used to do in school? Acronym. Thick holes gets you points and pads. I don't know what's we need. Think we need. Hey, y'all help me out. That's going. Whoever comes up with a really catchy phrase tomorrow, I'll send you a hat from Shop B Ladder if you can give us something that we can all remember. I do want to come up with that. I'm dead serious. Somebody come up with us an analogy or a acronym for thick holes, or arrange it however you need to. Thick holes, points, and pads gets you bites. I don't know how y'all can make it. You can even change the name of it. That's everything you need to know. I done talked 45 minutes about a bunch of gibberish when you're fishing grass, bank grass, submerged grass, Florida, Texas, Alabama, New York, Wisconsin, New York, Maine, Massachusetts, California, Southern California, Washington State. I'm trying to think of where everybody I talk to in the app is from. If you got grass in it, if you know where the thickest part is, you know where the holes in the grass are, you know where the points in the grass, and you know what stuff is laying on top of the grass that makes holes in the grass, you're gonna be able to catch fish there. There's gonna be a bait that you're gonna be able to fish in that grass, and there would be fish in that grass somewhere. I've never been to a lake that has grass that did not have bass in the grass, even if it's bank grass, even if it's bank grass, even if it's bank grass. Okay, so can y'all see that really good? I'm looking at it on my iPad in the app right now, and that's actually a very good image. I see it very clearly. Any questions? Now, I want to talk about this is where I want to leave us. We got 13 minutes, and I'm about to hit y'all with some right on. This is the part everybody loves. The baits that I'm going to use have a lot to do with which one of those items that I'm going to be fishing. If I'm fishing holes, I'll use one category of baits. If I'm fishing points, I might use about every category of baits, to be honest. If I'm fishing thick, it's only about one or two category of baits. If I'm fishing pads, there's a couple baits that work really good around pads. Let's talk about it. Is that slide right there, before I move on, that slide right there, is there any questions, anything you don't understand? And I want you to listen. You see how subtle where I said points? When I say points, a lot of times people think of this giant, easy to find, easy to see point. No, 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 no. Do y'all see how that eelgrass just stands out just a little bit from the rest of that? That's a point, my buddy. Matter of fact, I used the same technique at Pickwick 3 weeks ago, fishing little points just like that with a wacky rig. Little points. I'm not talking about this giant mass of point. Just a little bloop. Just a little point. Just a little pad. Just a little point. That's all. Just a little. Beep. You gotta pay attention to that stuff. So many times y'all just fishing. Y'all, I'm talking about me as well. Not throwing darts. Me. A lot of times I'm fishing so fast that I don't pay attention to the little bitty things like that. The little points. The little bitty holes. That one lily pad that's sitting on top of the eelgrass shades all that out, creates a hole. Johnny Big Butt Largemouth Bass is sitting in that one hole saying, I wish a frog would jump on here. I wish a freaking mayfly would drop in this hole. Pay attention to that little bitty stuff. Listen, wood that's laying across the eelgrass, a little piece of wood. That'll create a void in the grass. Where do you think the bass will go? Right there on that little log, little piece of wood that's laying there. It's the little bitty details of you fishing grass. Little bitty details you got to pay attention to. Okay, fishing holes in the grass. Let's talk about baits. What would I fish? Fishing holes in the grass, I'm going to throw, obviously you can flip Texas rig, creature baits, big worms, any of that kind of stuff in your holes. This is the Z-Man Gremlin, one of my favorite ones to fish. Texas rig, you figure out what weight you need to use. If it's deep, use a bigger one. If it's shallow, use a lighter one. On my Gremlin, I use a 3/16 and a quarter most of the time when I'm pitching in holes. Holes are a good thing to bring a chatterbait across. Holes are a good thing to bring a frog across. Holes are a good thing to bring that swim jig across. Matter of fact, that's what I brought in here to swim jig is probably my favorite thing to fish bank grass with. If you're looking for a category of baits to fish bank grass, here it is. I want you to write this down, put it in your phone, put it in your email, on your tablet. I don't know what else y'all on your BlackBerry, your notepad, like what I got. I'm worse than a BlackBerry. This is what I write everything down on. All them scripts y'all been hearing in my videos, them corny scripts. I literally write all that down. In first 3 minutes, first minute and a half of my YouTube videos, I write it down. I'm literally reading that. You probably can tell I'm reading it. I read that stuff, but it helps me keep my thoughts. All right. You need a swim jig. What is a swim jig? A swim jig is a jig that you just don't lay hit the bottom. It can be any kind of jig. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be a real swim jig. It just needs to be a jig. like a 3/8 ounce black and blue jig. I'm about to swim a jig at the James River next week. It's gonna be that one. I don't even make it anymore. It's a Z-Man swim jig. Swim jig. You need a swim jig. Black, blue, white, some kind of green pumpkin brim looking thing. Let's do a recap. I'll do y'all like I do my kids because I tell them something and they immediately forget. I was like, all right, guys, everybody put their McDonald's box in the trash. I say, let's do a recap. What does everybody need to put in the trash? I forgot. I'm like, bruh. What's the number one bait you need? Swim jig. Swim jig just works good because you can work it across. I need to do some swim jig retrieve videos. I'll do that. I might do that for live. Swim jig retrieve videos. Swim it. You can swim it across the thick stuff. When you see a hole, bloop, let it drop down in there. Hiya! Come and get it. You need a jig. You need something to flip with. You need a creature bait with a Texas rig. You need a Texas rig. You don't even have to have a creature bait. You can just flip a Senko in there. This is Z-Man Gremlin. Here's the cool thing about it. If you use the Gremlin, you can take the Gremlin, put it on a Texas rig, cut it in half, and put it on the back of your swim jig. Now you got a swim jig trailer. You need a chatterbait. Chatterbait is just a swim jig trailer. In this grass that on this slide that I'm showing you right now, I caught those all on a chatterbait. I was just throwing a chatterbait down the side. Chatterbait, swim jig. You need a frog. You need a hollow belly frog. Mike, we can come back to just full frame now. I think you need a frog. You also need, and when I say frog, popping frog and walking frog. Does everybody know the difference between that? If you don't know, the difference between a popping frog and a and just a walking style frog, let me know. I should have a couple in here. Actually, I got it. You ain't even got to tell me. Popping frog. Look at the nose on that. Look at the front of it. Walking frog. Look how it's pointed. Give me straight on. He just goes like this. Doesn't make much noise. Doesn't move much water. Walks back to the boat. This one with the open front end. Bloop. He does walk too. If you know how to work it good, you can make him walk back to the boat. Bloop. Bloop. This one stays in place longer. You got a lot of holes in the grass, lily pads. I actually like to throw the popping frog around lily pads more, but it can hang up in the pads more because the front end doesn't come across them as good. But I like you need a popping and a walking frog. Some days it makes a big difference. Um, I like a wacky rig. I'm about to post a video that I don't even want to post it. Pickwick, I caught all my fish on bank grass on a wacky rig, and it's so simple. It's so simple and so easy. So many people could have done this. I don't even want to make a YouTube vlog about it because if I do it, all of a sudden, you saw that at Okeechobee. Nobody used spinning rods at Okeechobee. During near one Okeechobee 2 years ago on a spinning rod, Joshua Weaver caught 35 pounds last day, so I wasn't going to win unless somebody figured out how to take Joshua Weaver out or take his prop off or, I don't know, freaking pull his kill switch or make him lay out. With that, I wasn't going to beat him with 35. But the area that I was fishing, nobody else caught him fish. I caught all mine on a wacky rig. Now everybody goes Okeechobee through a wacky rig. So I'm just really apprehensive about putting this video up because I know that's going to be toast. But a wacky rig works really good around bank grass. Fishing around those little points, the holes you see in the grass, really slow, really patiently. Because most time when people fish bank grass, they fish it extremely fast. It's so cool to be a power fisherman to get in there and just left hand, right hand, 50-pound test braid, big line. Everybody loves to do that. In all actuality, something that just kind of goes in there and just finesses them a little bit is oftentimes a little better. Uh, Did I just lock up there, Michael? Did I come back? Yeah, I guess I'll just come back.
You're
But
good.
I like finesse gear around it. It didn't. Okay, it looked like it locked up on my end. So finesse gear, a wacky rig, or even a drop shot works really well around bank grass. Just flipping it with little short cast at the bank grass. Okay, with a wacky or a drop shot. I don't want to give y'all nothing else to fish. There's some other baits that you could use. You could use prop baits. You could use glide. You could do all kind of things around it. But all that's going to do is just cloud your vision on what you really need to be focused on. That slide that I showed y'all first is what you want to focus on. Where on your body of water is getting more current? Where on your body is there steep contours in the bank grass? Where in your body of water does it change a little bit from the rest of the lake? That first couple slides is what I want y'all to focus on. The baits, simple. Swim jig, Texas rig, wacky rig, frog, chatterbait. I gave you 5. That's a lot. You went to the website and bought something right now, that'd be $100 of stuff you buy and just a lick. You don't need to spend that much money, Carol. Honey, you need to pay your car taxes. Your tag is expired. You need to pay your car taxes. Don't ask me because I had one. I didn't even know it was expired. I didn't even, my mama had to tell me, she said, it had been expired 6 months. I've been riding around with a 6-month-old tag. Anyway, that's all I'm giving y'all. You don't need nothing else. You need to put your butt in the water and go fishing. Okay? That's it. I ain't giving you nothing else. I'm not telling you nothing else. That's enough information to catch you a fish. You take the information that I just gave you and you chew on it, you listen to it over and over, you're going to catch some fish on bank grass this year. There's no doubt in my mind. I don't have any doubts. I know it works. It work anywhere. All the fish ain't going deep in the summer. Some of them in that bank grass because right now the brim are spawning. Somewhere in the country, the mayfly hatch is happening. Somewhere in the country, the shad is spawning. Guess what they use? Bank grass. Some of y'all live on lakes where you have a bunch of seawalls. Seawalls is just where they keep the blocks that they put up to keep from erosion from happening on their land. You got bank grass up against that seawall? Yes, sir. Absolutely. He there. Count on it, my boy. Count on it, my boy. He's there. So use those tips. I'm not giving you nothing else. It's complicated. Pay attention to that grass and what's around it, where the holes are, where the points are, and use those 5 categories of baits. And let me know how it works out for you in the next weekend or next month or so. Okay. Any other questions? I see some conversation. I love to see that in the chat.
Yeah, I didn't really see any questions.
Good. I think we're good.
I threw out there hit the prime places.
Hit the prime
Whole
places.
thick pads and points.
Yeah, that's it. We got to find an acronym for that. That's all you got.
That's it.
You can make that sound as complicated as you want. That's all you got.
Hit the prime places. HTPP.
Yeah. As long as you remember where it's thickest, where the holes are, where the points are, and when them gosh doggone pads it. Hey, proven method. Promise you. All right, guys. Let me see some fish this week. I think we have the round table coming up on Thursday. We're gonna do it live on Friday in the middle of the day. I want y'all out there having fun. It's summertime. This is the best part of fishing season for you. Go out there, have fun. Fish them Wednesday nighters. Fish the straight up fishing tournament that we're having. Get out there, have fun. This is where you make memories. Stack those experiences like we talked about in one of the videos I made as a recent. Okay. Appreciate y'all showing up. Let me know how it goes this week. Michael, thank you. That was clutch stuff tonight, man. I appreciate you putting all that stuff in the chat and making downloads for them.
All right. See you guys.
Yeah, have a good night.